Hello everyone. Today I am sporting my I Raise Tiny Dinosaurs shirt. Um, Completely off topic. I don't even know what the topic of today's videos is. I'm just gonna go out and eat some stuff from the garden and talk about whatever comes to mind. Oh, first off, how's everybody doing? I hope you're doing good. Um, but yeah, garden food. Oh, I'm doing good. Sorry. Garden food is so delicious. It's just something about it. A tomato that's been sitting in the sun, ripening. Wonderful. Now, with tomatoes, I don't do the larger tomatoes usually sitting out in the sun. Partly because the squirrels and other things will get to them, which you don't want. Sometimes, because I forget, it'll happen. You can get something like this. I don't know how clean this is, but you know what? I've eaten a little bit worse. No, that's good. Okay, but garden food as a whole. So, well, just figured out the topic of today's video right now. Why to grow a garden? Obviously, the fresh food, fresh food, the fresh produce that you're going to be getting. The second reason, to me, it's therapeutic at least, and I know to a lot of people it is. It's just calming, and there's so many different circumstances and ways you can grow a garden. I have kiddie pools that are going. I have raised beds. I have some in-ground methods. All of it's valid. All of it's beautiful. That's a really tough piece of skin, y'all. All of it is completely wonderful. And you can come out here. One reason I also garden organically, for anybody who's wondering. What I mean by organically, because some people have different views on it. Some people mean that for some people it means that you can use organic sprays. For me, no. I don't use organic sprays. I don't spray anything. I let it go, because sometimes that's all you can do, or sometimes you just have to pull it and hope for the best. But yeah, there are so many different reasons to grow a garden, along with just produce, but also keeping everything up to whatever. Maybe you have space that you don't know what to do with. Start a garden. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I started in 2020, but I've always loved a garden and everything that comes with a garden. But I really started in 2020. Everybody here knows what happened. I started in 2020 because, well, I wanted to, and you couldn't find a lot of things at the time. And then I started because my great grandparents didn't need to be eating everything else, and it was just easier getting it from somewhere local, and also a lot cheaper. So I grew a bunch of stuff for them that first year. And it really helped them, but it also helped me. I do not contribute me growing a garden all to myself. It's been a series of things that have led to this point. The original factor was my grandpa. He always grew a bunch of tomatoes, and before he would leave for work every morning, he'd say bye. He'd go out there and he would be like, I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna have me a tomato sandwich when I get off work. We used to live with him at the time. And every time he'd come home, there'd be no tomatoes. And he'd be like, oh, the deer are eating them. And it's fine, put up fences, still getting it and eating. That was me. I was the one eating the tomatoes, because I love them, first off, but I shouldn't have done that, but he still did get some tomatoes. But I loved eating them just fresh out of the garden after they've been in the sun all day. And I wouldn't trade that experience for anything. I'm sure my grandpa would, though. But I would not. I'm not eating the skin because this skin on this one is really, really tough. But second reason, or third reason, another reason, whatever, I don't know what we're on right now, to grow a garden. You know where the food comes from? I mean, I might have already listed this, I can't really remember. You know where it comes from. You know it hasn't been sprayed with anything if you garden organically, or if you do, you know what it was sprayed with, so you can make the best guess, or the best educated experience, or the best educated guess as to what your family's eating, what you need to do in order to prepare it. Ooh. Now, I don't hate on people who spray on their garden. I don't think that it's not wrong, but the way I look at it as a Christian, as a gardener as well, is nature grows without people growing things, or without them spraying things. They don't need to be sprayed every year. Fields don't need to be whatever every single year. I mean, yeah, when you're a gardener, you are growing for what you want to grow and pulling things and doing different things with that. But it's so... people get the idea that you have to spray things in your garden for them to grow, and that's just not true. You could probably spray stuff and get a pretty good harvest, a pretty decent harvest. What is a sunflower that died? A pretty decent harvest, but you're missing out on the ecosystem and the fun that comes with a garden. My sunflowers, I've had a squirrel come by and eat every single seed out of every single head. Irritating, but it's life, and it was very fun watching. Would I trade that? Absolutely not. Did I have plans with those? Yes. Did those plans come to fruition? No, but you know what did come to fruition? These things. Now, there are pros and cons growing your own garden, of course. It does take space. Maybe you don't have the space. And like if you're in an apartment or something like that. What I would say for that is, if you're not going to grow your own garden, at least support somebody who is doing the efforts. A small local farm, or someone like me who's just somebody posting things on Instagram or YouTube, or maybe you have a family member who's doing it. I'm sure they have more produce than they know what to do with. I'm sure, and they would love to give it to you. Or my best advice would be buy it from them. You don't have to pay extra or whatever, but go off their prices and accept that, because people get upset with some prices from local farmers and things like that. You shouldn't get upset with them, because they are making their best estimate on how long everything happened, the amount of labor that's put into it, the amount of everything that's taken up to that point. And that's not a lot of work on their part, but it is work on their part. They're like, okay, I'm gonna use the example of a tomato seedling that somebody is watering daily, or not daily, but a few times a week, things like that. You're watering, or you planted that, so you bought a seed packet of, some seeds can have 50 or more, or if you're saving your seeds, whatever. So that's already a cost of buying the initial starting stuff. And then, I don't know how much longer in the video. But you buy that stuff, and then you have to continually water it. You have to get the soil for it if you're doing raised beds. You have to, any pest pressure, you have to go out there and prune off. You have to make sure vines don't ramble. You have to do a lot of stuff to them. I mean, it's not that much stuff if you only have like 5 or 10 plants. But if you have more plants, then yeah, it's going to take more time, and you're going to be able to charge more for them. Yeah, it might not be as affordable as you might want it to be, but it does make sense. If you were doing stuff, you would want to also get paid what you deserved. Which is where a lot of people, I think, get caught up at, is they don't want to pay all of that, but they want better produce and things like that. And that really turns them off of that, because you do probably end up, or sometimes you do end up paying more. Not all the time, but sometimes you do. And with that, only thing I can say is it might not be what you want, but I would go ahead and do it. Just because it is better for you in the long run. I don't know if any of that made sense. I really hope it did, because I was all over the place, but yeah. A nice short video for y'all. Out in the garden, enjoying some garden food. I was going to eat a piece of corn, but I ran out of time. Well, I could go get it really quick. I'll just pause you guys. Back to the front porch. I'm going to talk really quickly, so get it the first time or rewatch it. This piece of corn is not necessarily ready to be picked, but I'm going to eat it. Yes, you can eat corn right out of the garden. A lot of people did not know that. I did not necessarily know that before, but I'm going to show you guys, so let me finish peeling this, and then I'll show you. Then I need to do a very quick outro. Time for a quick outro, like 10 seconds. Okay, this is all I ended up getting. It's harder than like cooked corn, obviously, but it's so full of flavor. It's delicious. Okay, before I run out of time, I have 8 seconds left. Thank you all for watching. See you in the next one, and bye y'all. Have a good weekend too.